Moneyweb now. On the money.
This podcast is brought to you by Stellenbosch Asset Management. Invest in more global opportunities through their partnership with JP Morgan Asset Management. Chatting now with Mark Diuga. He's CEO of Bitexen South Africa. Mark, good to chat again. Tokenisation on the show here. We have talked about it a number of times. Usually, in fact, not usually, always kind of focusing on tokenizing US stocks. Maybe some offshore ETFs, maybe even a bit of crypto or some commodity. You're looking to take it even a step further and saying that if properly structured, we could tokenize, a paddle club, a farm, a wine farm, an agricultural farm. We can take this a lot wider than just listed equity.
Good morning, Simon. Thanks for having me back. Yeah, that's exactly our thesis at Bitexen. So we will be entering the market in the next couple of weeks. We're finishing off some testing as a cryptocurrency exchange. And via one of our partner companies, we'll be looking at token issuance, which is what we've done successfully as a business internationally, and bringing that technology into South Africa. And we hope to do a bit of a show and tell of what else you can do with this technology, not just trying to put a financial asset on the blockchain, but what can you do with a real world asset on the blockchain? So a business that you can feel and touch and consume in South Africa, can that be tokenized, fractionalized, widely distributed for the general population? And how can they meaningfully participate, not just by being a member of a club, which already exists, but what if there was some financial inclusion and reward for the relationship by consuming an item and investing in the same business?
And that's perhaps a lot of what it is. I mean, it's ownership. Make no mistake about that. But it goes broader than just the ownership. It is community. It can be rewards. It can be so much more than just that ownership, which makes it much more sort of real and sort of a tactile.
Yeah, correct. I mean, a great example we're working on, which we will be publicizing in the next 6 to 8 weeks, is the tokenization of a vineyard near Stellenbosch in the Western Cape. So the ability for you, me, your listeners to invest, I suppose, for want of a better phrase, but put 100 Rand into a token, which has the legal structure and framework and compliant system in place to give a flow through of benefits from a shareholding structure and then fractionalized interests, which represent a real working vineyard where the token holder would have utility. So the same way that a wine farm might have membership today, but deep discounts delivered to your door if you can demonstrate you're a token holder, which we can with this technology. Invites to meet and greet the winemaker. But we can take it a little bit further than that. We can say if you have one token or 1% of the token supply, you have 1% of the voting power next time we decide on a wine label or a varietal or the naming of the next blend. So we can give this sort of more engaged community aspect around the consumers of a wine with the actual end product themselves. But what we can also do with this technology, because it's fractionalized, distributed on blockchain, very low cost to make micropayments, is every time a bottle of wine is sold, 10 Rand is now added to what we would call a staking contract without getting too complicated. But it means that there's a royalty payment every single time a bottle of wine is sold, distributed to token holders. So not only are they a member and feeling like they've got a bit of utility, a little bit of light governance on the project, but they also have the financial reward of being an investor into the underlying estate.
Got you. Absolutely. And I think a key point of it, I mean, tokenization in of itself is not necessarily the magic wand. You still need that underlying asset. In this case, stay with the example, there be your wine farm. You need the differentiator, which to your point is we can flow some cash back, we can vote in varietals and labels and the like. There's also then the practical part, which is a regulatory framework, which is the model that you use in the secondary market, liquidity, which is a big part of what Bitexen brings those expertise to the market.
Yeah, correct. I spent the earlier part of this week with the regulator in my office going through these examples, just really explaining the nitty-gritty of how it works from a technological point of view. But you're right. The underlying asset is a real breathing, living business. It's just the legal framework and this technology allows us the infrastructure to build around it in a way that I think crowdfunding sort of failed us, where it was difficult to be organized. It was difficult to distribute benefits across a broad base of investors. Mm-hmm. And if you have too many investors, are you a collective investment scheme? So there were different parts where crowdfunding wasn't working. And we believe that the real world asset tokenization, the CASP framework for a crypto business as a financial services provider, can provide the benefits of the knowing your client aspect of a tangible investment product with the ease to distribute via technology.
Yeah, I like that. This is kind of, I hadn't thought of that. This is kind of like crowdfunding, I don't know, grows up, goes to university. Because there's a lot I liked about the crowdfunding, never quite got it together. We'll leave it there. It's Mark Diuga. He is a CEO Bitexen South Africa. Appreciate the early morning time. And that's our poll today on LinkedIn. Do you own any tokenized assets? Would you be interested? I mean, I don't know. The idea of buying a slice of a wine farm certainly seems attractive. But have your vote, have your say, LinkedIn. This podcast is brought to you by Stellenbosch Asset Management. Invest in more global opportunities through their partnership with JP Morgan Asset Management.